My daughter is singing in the background, so if you hear her, please forgive her. But she got a wonderful voice. I'm letting it fly. She's in a room enjoying herself, watching her favorite YouTube shows. She watched that more than actually actual shows like Disney and Cartoon Network, but whatever. As long as it's appropriate, I'll let her watch it. But I'm very, very strict on what she puts on and what she is allowed to see. But that's not why you're here to hear me talking about my daughter. You're here for the comic book 360 editorial, and it's gonna be a little lengthy, but there's a reason for this. First of all, yes, I did saw episode 2 of the Watchmen. I did enjoy it. Can't wait to see what goes on at episode 3. I like the way they're progressing the story, giving you more details. This is something that I was hoping they'd do, and they're doing it pretty well. They're giving you backstory as well as the origins as to why the police officers are wearing masks in Tucson. If I'm saying it wrong, please correct me in the comment section. But needless to say, there's a legitimate reason, and it has to do with the main character taking a vicious gunshot wound almost to the lower abdomen. I am surprised that she survived that, but she did survive it. We also learn a little bit more about one of the characters who was killed off in episode 1, and I'm kind of curious of where that kind of lead to in episode 3. Plus, also more revealing of Jeremy Irons' character, and I'm gonna not say he's Dr. Manhattan, not yet, but it is signs that something is going on involving him. Need to say, we got more revealing stuff about that play that he was talking about, and how that actually panned out. It was pretty disturbing, needed to say the least. The whole entire play was disturbing, but his character is becoming more and more fleshed out in this series. Juicy Gossett Jr. It seems to going to be playing a more important role than I thought. I thought he was doing a guest starring role, but now with the link of him being the kid we saw in episode 1 who witnessed his entire town as well as his family being wiped out by the Klansmen, it really paints a more clear picture as to some of his motives in these first 2 episodes. But we also had another surprise ending, which is going to scratch my head as to what the hell is going on with this show. And that's not a bad thing, because I think they're doing it right. I think they're giving us bits and pieces. We're getting more information. But the most importantly, it seems to follow Rorschach's philosophy that not everything is beautiful and roses. Everything is black and white. Either good or evil. There's really no in between. There's really no hidden motives. And I think they're going to play a lot more in this series. So overall, I'm enjoying what they're doing. I'm enjoying how they're pushing this storyline forward. However, it didn't come without controversy. And it's not as big as one may expect, but there was 2 things that I saw. One from the quarantine. In case you guys don't know who he is, you should check out his channel. Really like his commentary. Even if I disagree with it, at least he's bringing up his concern and his narrative, and I can respect his comments on what he says. And Lindsay Ellis. Well, Lindsay Ellis had tweeted something that he said that a long time ago, the Watchmen comic book was never about political and social commentary. I respect Lindsay Ellis because I follow when she was ever since the Nostalgia Chick. I watched her tweets. There were a lot of stuff that I like how she's covering how she's covering entertainment now. One of her best coverage and videos was the Habit series, on how it was not really supposed to be as it was painted out to be. I encourage you to check that out. But in terms of her tweet, I have to disagree respectfully. And the reason why I disagree with it is that I've seen the movie more so than I read the comic books. I didn't know about this comic book until I saw the movie. I saw the movie, and I was generally surprised on how different it was from the typical comic book structure. It had a lot of social issues I didn't really take into consideration, and it was a very daring move. It was also one of the reasons why the movie, more so than the comic books, was a mixed bag for even the hardcore fans. A lot of fans was a little bit up and down about some of the stuff they have changed to how it wasn't like an action-packed comic movie. It was more leaning more towards the drama, meaning towards some of the issues that was being presented by the characters. One of the main issues is sacrifice. Was it necessary to bring peace? Was fear, which is also being hinted in this show, is fear the main weapon for keeping people alive? Rorschach did not agree, of course, with Dr. Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan being this, this godlike figure, which I'm pretty sure he's going to appear eventually in this show. A figure that pretty much have powers that can wipe out the entire planet. It was one of the main reasons why things became more peaceful. Rorschach did not buy into that. Rorschach even documented some of the stuff that was going on. And Rorschach is kind of like that anti-hero. He's not afraid to cross the line, especially when it comes to bad guy. He was pretty much demented in many, many ways. To the point where he was going to reveal the truth about what was really happened, to the point where Dr. Manhattan pretty much stopped him. And he said, if you really feel you need to stop me from doing that, then you're going to have to take me out, which he did. It was probably most shocking, in my opinion, in that film. And this is before I even knew about the comic books, before I even read the comic books. But this made me want to read the comic books and get more into this story, which I find very good. I find it very, very fascinating. And it's probably one of my best graphic comics reads I ever had, have read. So that says a lot about the overall story. So it seems from this, it's following the same path but a different take. And I really do like that. I mean, they're giving us something different. They're giving us something that is still, in many ways, a topic that we're dealing with today. So to say, for Lindsay to say that it wasn't really about social and political commentary, I'm sorry, but that whole entire comic book, even the movie, was about social and political commentary. It's just this one has a more rooted, deep topic of racism and how extreme they can become if they don't keep in check. Another one that's for the quarantine, he pretty much hinted that this is white guilt all over again. I disagree about that as well. Look, when it comes to topic of racism, you're always going to have that uncomfortable feeling. It's not designed to be comfortable. It's designed to be ugly. It's designed to be filthy. And it's designed to have that conversation as to why this is ugly and filthy and how it can lead to the tragic events that we see in the very beginning of episode 1. My feeling is, as long as the issue that they're dealing with, the story structure and the commentary is connected with what they're trying to do, which for the first 2 episodes they are, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Another thing I also got to say, and this is me, if you're so angry about this, I got to question this. I have to question, what are you really angry about? Because again, this is a movie. If it doesn't reflect how you are as a human being, again, I'm not going to go out there and blame every white guy for what has happened, 100 years ago, 40 years ago, 60 years ago. I judge you on your character, your demeanor, how you respect me, and it should be the same. You have to get respect. You have to earn that respect, and that's as simple as that. I'm not going to change somebody's personal opinions overnight. I'm not going to change how they feel about me. If you hate me for whatever it is, so be it. But to me, basically hating on this movie because you feel it brings out that white guilt, that's not the intention of this movie. And keep in mind, the spoiler alert if you haven't seen episode 1, in the end of the movie, a police officer was hanged, supposedly by a crippled Loser Gossip Jr. character, which we still don't know his origin. He says he's 100 years old. He had basically told that the sheriff had something in his closet, which he did. It was revealed that not everything about this sheriff is what it seemed, and I pretty much got that hint the minute he went somewhere in the back of the house sniffing on what I'm only presuming is coke. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm being realistic here. I mean, he went back there. His fellow officer caught it, told him to wipe his nose. We left it as such. So this is pretty much an imperfect world, which is kind of strange because Dr. Manhattan is still out there. That's a known fact. This is a continuation from the comic slash movies, more for in the movies than the comic books, of the events that happened that took place with Doctor Manhattan. Obviously, some people probably read Rorschach's journal. I still don't know why Rorschach, who is not a criminal but an anti-hero, or pretty much a crazed vigilante, will be the symbol of this racist group. But again, I'm not looking at this and saying, you see, this is why I hate white guys. First of all, in case you don't know, my uncle's Irish, okay? And I love them deeply. I see them no differently than what I see my brother, my wife, and my daughter, okay? And the fact of the matter is this, okay? They have been more of a help to me, as well as I have to them, than anybody in my family, bar none, okay? So not one TV show is going to change my view on anyone. Like I said, I get respect when it's earned, the same way I respect towards me. Okay, there are going to be people who are morons. That's just how it is. I can't change everyone, but what I can do is conduct myself as a human being, as a man, appropriately and respectfully, and just ignore the nonsense that goes on to it. Trust me, the filth will always reveal himself down the road, and those people will have to look themselves in the mirror and say, is it really me that you have a problem with, or is it really something inside that you're mad about? With that being said, again, to me, getting mad over this because you felt white, to me, it's just ridiculous. There's no reason for that, and I really, that's not a legitimate criticism. However, if this film, however, had swayed away and tried to tell a different story, has nothing to do with the overall plot of the story, then I would have something to say. I would have definitely criticized it, because you can't give me one thing and then try to throw something out in there that has nothing to do with the story. Everything so far from what I'm seeing in these first 2 episodes are linked and connected to each other. And to me, they're doing a good job. Again, I don't know where it's leading at, but that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because now they're building it up, and I'm really gotten attached to these characters. I want to know more about these characters. It was also revealing that the real biological father of the supposedly hero's kids were either adopted or have been taken in by them, and she is the true caretaker. So we don't know what's going on with that yet, but I'm pretty sure that's going to play in the role, because she is, her children, even though she's an African American, her children is Caucasian. So there is that situation. There is a whole lot of stuff going on. Right now, like I said, it's not what I thought it would be. But that's not a bad thing. And I think that there's something, they're going somewhere with this. I want to see where it goes. And if they drop the ball down the line, I will let you know. I definitely will say, hey, they dropped the ball at the end. But for what they're doing right now, I think they're doing a good job. I think they are doing what they're supposed to do in terms of what they're throwing at us. And that's very, very important. Overall, like I said, I gave the first episode 3 stars. The second episode get the same thing. And for the most part, I am good with this. And like I said, there were some twists and turns. It was revealed, a very important statement was revealed about the deceased captain. And I want to know how that's going to affect. We also found out that there may be it could be, maybe not, maybe so, a connection between Louis Gossett Jr. character and the officer who don't believe he did it, but really don't have any other option but to bring him in. When you find out that there's something more going on to the story. So again, I'm engaged. I'm hooked. Overall, as for the controversy, again, this is very, very minimum. No one's really going crazy about that. Lindsay Ellis brought it up, and the Corny brought it up. And again, I just felt to want to time in on it because I am watching the show. And to me, yes, it is. It has a lot to do with race, but again, I don't think that's the only thing that's going on. But to me, even if that is the entire series, as long as it stays focused on what they're trying to do, I don't have a problem with that. Like I said, there are shows that were way, way worse. I did a review of Rosewood. It was the most difficult review I have ever had to experience. As good as that movie was, it was so hard to watch that film. I literally had to walk away and take a breather and just take it and just relax, because it was so deep and rooted. And to me, that's That is not a bad thing because it's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to be ugly and nasty. Otherwise, how would you get the true reality of what racism can do if it's not kept in that? If you think racism doesn't lead to what I saw in Rosewood, you're fooling yourself. Just look what happened at Charlottesville. That's a perfect example of hatred going unchecked, and that the result of it, some innocent person was killed. That person's now serving life in prison. But imagine this: he probably still have his feelings, but if he would have kept himself in check, that probably would never happen. Simple as that. It's that hatred and that rudeness, and you can't ignore that. That's another thing I'm kind of curious about. Why is it that when it comes to these films or these shows, people want to bash on that and ignore it instead of actually looking and seeing what this show, what this series is trying to do? And I gave you another perfect example of trying to water it down or trying to basically pretend it doesn't exist. Harriet. Now, I am absolutely happy that Harriet Tubman has her own film. However, there's a lot of people who's disappointed. A lot of people are disappointed, and the reason is they water it down. It doesn't feel genuine. So who to say they're wrong? Like I said, slavery is not something to be painted over with a nice fine color. It is dark. It is gray. It is definitely something that you just can't sugarcoat.
Can I say hi?
Now, before I go, my daughter wants to say hello, and then I'm gonna close it out.
I gotta tell them.
With something. And you can't tell them anything because number one, we're closing out. So you're going to do it. You got to do it in the next video. Okay? So say hello.
Hi guys, and if you want me to go and do a video of me telling me about my life, leave a comment down below. Goodbye.
There's Embryo. Alright, so guys, what do you think about this? I am curious about it because, again, I don't want you guys to think that I'm being sarcastic or just legit about what's going on. But I wanted to make it clear that, again, we need to be mindful of what we say. Again, social commentary, political commentary, yes, I understand that it's too much and it's being forced in films. I get annoyed when they try to force political statements or force an agenda where in films that have no business having that agenda on there. I'm looking at Ghostbusters, I'm looking at Last Jedi, I'm looking at even films that, comedy could have been good, have the political nonsense have not hijacked the film. And even Chris Stockman brought up something that was quite interesting when he did his review, I believe, on Countdown, and how there was a subplot that had nothing to do with the film, had nothing to do with the overall plot of the film, just thrown in there just for the sake of throwing in there, not because it's an important piece of the film, because they feel that's the only way they can make money. And that's a damn shame. That is sad that they feel that way, and to me that's wrong. You make the script, you tell a story because you want to tell a story, not because you have to force something there that is not even genuine and not even a part of the overall thick of things. And that's an issue for another time. But those are the things I'm more concerned about than what Watchmen is doing. To me, everything seems to fit in what they're trying to say so far. It leaves me guessing as to what I'm going to expect on the next episode of Watchmen, which is pretty much 24 hours from now. So let's see what happens. Until next time, J77 said take care, be safe, leave something in the comment section if you can, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.